Before we started the film, we looked at several existing and popular films of the genre we were using, which was thriller. Two of the main films that had an early influence on ours were Trainspotting and Shrooms, both of the thriller genre. A convention of these that we used in our media product was the editing of certain scenes to make them seem darker. We implemented this during the editing stage of our film into certain scenes, such as the death scenes and the final couple of scenes, which we wanted to make seem darker. We've also used effects such as motion blur and the slowing of the actual frame speed during certain scenes, where the main character's mind and body is in a heavily influenced state. This is an important aspect of Trainspotting in particular, and our film, which both centre around the issue of drugs.
Another convention of these films was the use of non-diegetic sounds in the form of music. During some scenes where the director clearly wanted to build suspense with the audience, he uses slow music to do this. We have used this in our film as well, with the death scenes having slow, eerie music playing over them to further enhance the grim and dark nature of this. In contrast to this, we have challenged typical thriller conventions in the early scenes with fairly upbeat music for a couple of scenes.
I feel that the combination of our main media product and our ancillary text is quite effective. In my movie poster, I've used largely dark colours to replicate the dark feelings throughout the majority of our film. I have also used effects on some of the text, such as the sharpening and tinting of words, to give it a darker, a more professional look. In my magazine review, I've looked at several style models on the internet for films of the same genre. I then looked at the language used in regards to the film the review is analysing and implemented this into my movie poster, giving it a more authentic feel. I've also used several images in the poster that show important parts of the film to visually show the reader what parts of the film I'm referring to in the review.
My movie poster is in contrast to that of usual posters of this nature. I use fairly light colours to attempt to make it look more appealing. However, I've also used effects such as the blur and dragging of the text to make it look like blood is dripping off some of the title. This shows the audience that although the poster may suggest otherwise, our film is likely to contain some dark and bloody scenes. Another main feature of my text is a black image set against a white background. I've done this to try and replicate the evil mindset of the main character in contrast to his normally good conscience.
Several of our classmates and friends have seen our final product. The feedback from them has generally been quite positive. Many of them have complimented our use of effects with the flashbacks and real-time shot, so it is easy to distinguish between the two. We were afraid the combination of these shots and the non-chronological order of our film would be confusing to people, so we were glad this worked. However, some of our feedback we received was negative. Some commented how the darkness in some scenes was a little too much and they couldn't really see what was happening.
Another positive aspect of our film from the feedback we received was the use of music in different scenes. Many of the people that see in the film like the soundtrack we have used and how it goes well with the scenes they are being played during. The last in particular that is played through the final few scenes we received very positive feedback from.
We use media technologies most importantly during the post-production stages of our film. To actually edit our film, we use the software Final Cut to cut up the film and then add the effects which we used.
We also use other pieces of software such as InDesign and Photoshop whilst making our ancillary texts. These help give the media text we produced a professional and authentic look.
During the production stage, obviously, we use the actual camera, but as well as this, we use different equipment, such as extra lighting for certain scenes, a tripod, microphones, and a dolly.
In the pre-production stage of our film, we relied upon basic software packages such as Microsoft Word and Publisher to create the script, our log, audience research, and other documents.